Welcome to the Seven Figure Real Estate Show. Today, we have an amazing episode. This is episode 11. We're going to be sitting with Bill Heath, who owns a sign company and Maine Choice Inspections here in the state of Maine. He's a serial entrepreneur. Stick around and listen to the great knowledge that he's going to provide.
Bill talks a lot about systems and how he's grown his businesses to be one of the most successful inspection businesses in the state of Maine, and how he's able to not even be in Maine 8 months out of the year. Make sure you stick to the end, because Bill tells a fun story about how he started a lawn care business at the age of 10 and was making $60,000 a year before even turning 18. So with that said, let's get right into the show.
Bill, thanks so much for coming on, man.
Absolutely, man.
Yeah, we really appreciate
Thank
that.
you for having me.
Of course.
That
chair comfy? Feeling good?
Sure. You got a better one? I'll always take a better chair.
So Bill is somebody that I use all the time for my inspections, sign installation, things along those lines. So I thought it'd be a great person to have just as an integral part of the real estate day-to-day transactions. But also what I love about Bill is he's a serial entrepreneur. So, we speak the same language. And I remember the day we met, and I was asking him about his name, because the name of his company is Maine Choice Inspections. And I was like, you left off the E, is your plan to go, across the United States? And he's like, well, maybe. So I just thought that was a really, interesting way into our relationship and, start of a great friendship. So thanks for coming on.
Absolutely. Yeah. One of the things that stands out when you say stuff like that is when I first started in the industry, I would say the words we, and agents would look at me cross-eyed and say, who's the we? It's like, it's not where I am, it's where I'm going.
Right.
That's how my mind works. Like, I'm always looking for at the next step, the next phase. So when we developed the name, it was, I didn't want to pigeonhole myself to Maine, the state of Maine.
Okay. Yeah. One thing I'm always curious in the way entrepreneurs operate is how predetermined their businesses really are. Because I know some guys who just kind of go out there and they just shoot, they just randomly shoot, and they're like, okay, maybe this will kind of work and we'll grow into that. And then some people are very deliberate in the business plan. This is the way it's going to be. You seem like you're kind of like a fine medium between I don't know, maybe we'll go past Maine, but
I think you have to be. You can't say, this is the way we're going and stick to that, because you could be out of business real quick. I mean, I think COVID showed us all that, right? You have to be fluid to some degree, but you also have to have systems that keep you on track.
Yeah. So what's the fine line between being fluid enough to go with the market and find opportunities and act on them, but also not being, because if you're too fluid and you're constantly moving around, you're not going to accomplish anything significant, because you're always doing something else. There has to be some level of consistency.
I think the key to the issue with being too fluid is that Nick or other agents that use us want consistency. And if you don't have some sort of direction that your staff is going in, and they all understand, the mission that we're trying to accomplish, and everybody's doing their own thing, it's harder to have repeat clientele. So it's the same thing. I mean, we systemize everything right down to, our order system is very systematic on inspections, whether it's inspections or the sign company. And then it goes beyond that. Everything we do is systematic inside the warehouse. Everything's systematic in the vehicles. If you go from one of our vehicles to another, they're all the same. So that it's just creates an environment for our staff and for our clients to understand what they're going to get. Like, my guys and gals know what they're doing every day. They come in and they know what to expect from me too, right? They know that, and that same thing goes for them. And then, and my job as an entrepreneur or the owner is to serve my customer, which to me, my customer is my staff. And then their job, and we make it very clear, is their job is to serve the client.
Right.
And when you put that, I think when we put that on them, it gives them a little bit of ownership too. So, but yeah, the systems in place are very, very important.
Yeah. So you're very systematized. You're very systematized, which allows you to provide a service that's going to be repeatable.
Exactly.
Yeah.
We're getting ready to embark on a whole nother industry, which is something in Florida that I know Nick wants to talk about, because my life is, I started out in 2013. I created Maine Choice Inspections, and prior to that, I had other companies that, as I've grown and matured, I've determined, okay, this is where I want to be. So, and thanks to Keller Williams and some of the culture that I've learned from them, is life by design. Where do you want to be? And I also went to a conference if you don't have a coach, you really should have a coach. Everybody needs a coach.
So what's the difference between a coach and like a therapist?
Good question. I think this is a little bit of both.
Depends on the coach.
Okay, like I don't have a coach. I'm making enough money to like afford one, which is I'm curious, how much money should you be making
Well, let me
to
ask
get a
you
coach
this.
first?
I say you should have a coach when you start your business.
What if I'm
you better figure out a way to pay for it, because this is what happened since 2013. We'll fast forward to probably 2015, 2016. I'm trying to recall the one I actually took coaching on. My business was growing, but it wasn't growing to the capacity or capability that it could have been if I had a coach.
okay,
Because as soon as I took a coach on, a business coach, and this coach is for everything, by the way. You may be a life coach that you want. Maybe you just, that was my question I was going to pose to you is, okay, you may be doing great with business and you feel like you're growing at the pace you want to grow at.
Yep.
But there's some place in your life that you need a coach.
Mhm.
I promise.
Yep.
So just figure that out and go find that coach.
Yeah, but even I would challenge that even a little bit more too. Your business may be growing at the rate that you want it to, but and I always use this as an example. Tiger Woods was the number one golfer in the world. He had a coach when he was number one. Like it's
absolutely.
not, and he probably had 4 or 5 different coaches, so it was like, even if you're at the top of the pile, coach isn't going to always help you grow your business, but it's also going to help you possibly balance your life. You're
Exactly.
like, hey, I'm making enough money here, but I'm not spending enough money, not enough time with my family. So like, how do I do both?
Right.
Yeah, I think a good analogy to that is if you're not moving forward, you're moving backwards. I don't think there's such a thing as just like staying stagnant.
Yeah,
And when you get to some level of performance, if you don't have someone that's constantly monitoring it, because eventually it's, when you start out on something, it's like you're making drastic improvements.
Yeah.
Like when you let's just use like skiing as an example. Like you go from the bunny soap to skiing a black diamond, you can do that in a year.
Right.
But then going from like it's like you can do 90%, but then that all of a sudden 1% becomes really, really hard.
Right.
And you need a coach to do that.
Yeah, that's the hockey stick, right?
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
It's a hockey, correct.
Yeah, the hockey curve. Yeah.
So what's a reasonable amount of money to spend on a coach for in correlation to how much you're making, what type of business you're in, what your business is doing? Because not everyone has,
there's free coaching. Get what you pay for.
Do you consider free coaching YouTube and Instagram?
There's that, but no, there's coaching available right around us. That there's entrepreneurs out there that have retired and they just want to share what they've done.
Mm-hmm.
So there's free coaching out there. I would say, I spend $20,000-$30,000 a year, but I know people that spend that a month.
Mm-hmm.
So it's just really what you want, how much coaching you want, what type of coaching.
What are you like? What is your? Do you have one coach? Do you have multiple coaches for different things?
I'm blessed in the fact that the organization that we use for coaching, there's multiple coaches.
Mm-hmm.
So there may be one that's not great at one thing, but we have somebody that is. So there's always something.
Yeah.
And then what I liked about coaching that the benefit for us for coaching was the fact that if I needed sounds weird, but a document for something, or I needed. I'll give you an instance. The coach that I was using wasn't able to answer my question. I was able to get another coach on the line, and it was just a question: do I hire? I'd already hired, but do I hire somebody now because they're a great fit for our company? However, it's not the time to hire in my mind because we're coming into the slow season, and a hiree on an inspection company is going to cost me $100,000.
Mm-hmm.
Right, between a vehicle, the time it takes to train them, and it worked. He gave me some great advice, and we moved forward from that, and it was a great hire, and it worked out well. But it's little things like that, and like you said, it's the little things. Once you get into a business, we've been open for 10 years now, Main Choice Inspection, so we're making little tiny tweaks every day.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
not once a week, every day.
Mm-hmm.
Every day we're tweaking something. I'm calling people like Nick and I'm saying, hey, what can we do better?
Right.
All the time.
well, kind of going back to what we were just talking about, I look at business and being an entrepreneur kind of like a sport. It's like you start with these big improvements, and then when you get to this higher level in business for 10 years, like I'm sure when you started your business, you probably made bigger changes, whether it's hiring new employees or the entire structure or investing in new vehicles, and now it's like a change you might be email you guys send out, or it's like the changes become. Have you found that the changes become smaller and smaller as the business becomes bigger and bigger?
I think, before COVID, I'd say yes.
Mm-hmm.
But when COVID struck and it's still striking in our industry. Our industry is struggling across the entire nation. Home inspections are down, 50, some places 50%.
Why is that?
I think that the market, our listings are down, but I think that I don't know where all this money's coming from, but people are paying cash more often, and Nick would know, but they're waiving inspections, they're doing all kinds of stuff. It's the market's changed, the industry's changed, and as soon as we saw that change, obviously we created some new inspections and we did some different things, but we're still we're down, a third on our revenue.
Did you have to let off employees?
We let off three people.
Two.
Was
that hard? I feel like my
well, it wasn't hard because they made the choice. In our company, we have enough stuff going on that we can, hey, you guys can shift gears and if you want to, or you can go find another job. We did pay them for the first 6 months when that first happened. We said, we'll pay you up, you're gonna have to pay us back, but we'll give you an advance. And some of them opted to do it and some didn't. The ones that didn't want to do it, they just went and got another job, but it was unfortunate because they were great guys. Gals, so.
Yeah. How big is your team now with the inspection company?
Just the inspection company. We have 2 home inspections plus myself and 1 septic inspector.
And then how big is your team with the sign company?
We have 4 people in Massachusetts and we'll say 2 up here because I'm one of them.
Yeah. So how many signs do you install annually? In I guess across the state.
The state of Maine, we're probably around 2,400.
Wow.
In the Massachusetts, we're doing almost 1,000 a month.
Wow.
Yeah. Okay. So, the sign company, no offense, and we talked a little bit about this in the pre-show, but it's not like a exciting and new revolutionary company. It's signs for real estate agents. Some would say it's almost boring, but you've created this like prospering business out of it and created real value for agents in Maine and Massachusetts. How did you get into that? And then also scale it? Like, how did you start? Were you out there hitting signs in the lawns for agents?
I initially bought a small franchise. It was a software franchise into it. And I really wasn't getting any traction.
Yeah.
Guys and gals, the real estate world tend to be loyal to their client, or to their vendors, I should say. So it was really tough for us. We probably over 2 years put 1 or 2 signs in. Of course, I wasn't pushing it real hard. Our marketing team hadn't really pushed it.
Yeah. And these are just the signs for the viewers, just the, hey, for sale by
Keller Williams.
For sale by Nick Danbury.
Yeah. So it's that style sign. So I went and I knew there was a gentleman that was getting up there in age, and I went and talked to him, and he said, yeah, I'd love to sell. So we bought the company. At first, I thought I was out of my mind. I mean, literally the day we bought the company, everybody quit.
Do you want to talk about how you bought the company, the M&A legal stuff you had to go through? I don't know how complicated it was, and then like the raise. Did you take out a loan for it? How did you do that? Yeah,
we initially took a loan, and the reason you asked why I got into the sign business.
Yeah,
it was a marketing strategy that we had. It was running the numbers. There wasn't a lot of profit margin in a sign install. However, the money really came from the relationship that I was going to gain with the real estate agent. The real estate agent, to me, we know that the average agent's going to give us 2.5 inspections a year. That used to be the number. It's actually declining, but that's a national average. So if we can get in front of more agents, we can get more inspections. This makes sense, right?
Yeah.
So that's what we were thinking. And a lot of agents, because there's a lot of home inspectors that are knocking on agent doors all the time, calling them, whatever they're doing, however they're reaching out. And when I first entered the industry, one of the first things I did was I looked at the industry in Maine and I said, what are the home inspectors not doing? And one, they didn't have a good website. You go to most of them, this was 10 years ago. I mean, they're getting better now, but their websites were horrible. They had no SEO. We immediately was taking 40% of the business offline because we went and we threw all of our money at SEO, website, and the design. So same thing. What else can we do? Okay, we've kind of maxed out that part of our marketing strategy. Now where can we go? When we went into the sign industry, and said it's easier to market because I can come in. They need the service. it's an easier way for me to, and I gained a lot of traction and a lot of relationships through that. So that's why I did it. But yes, to answer your question, one of the other questions is we took a loan, and it's about to be paid off, by the way, which is kind of cool.
Nice.
Finally.
Nice.
But yeah, it's definitely, the funny thing is now it used to be the thorn in my side, the company, but now it's kind of it's my baby. Like I enjoy going out. My wife and I will ride around all day, putting signs in. Bad use of my time, by the way.
Horrible.
But it's something I enjoy doing. You
Sure.
know, it's like, some people enjoy golf. I enjoy working, and I enjoy going out, taking a route out and doing a sign route for the day. So,
Yeah, let's talk about use of time, because I think that's really important. I heard, I don't know if you're familiar with like Alex Ramosi, but he talked a lot about if you're making over, I think it was like $20 an hour, he said you should never be cooking for yourself. He said if you're making over $20 an hour, the opportunity cost of getting DoorDash for $15 and having a meal delivered with you, the time that you gain from not cooking is more worth than the time you lose from just ordering.
Well, there's another part to that, though. If you don't take that time and make money with that time, then you're kind of you got to maximize your time, but you also and find ways. Like I love mowing lawns.
Yeah,
I mean that's what I started out doing when I was 10 years old.
Yeah,
right. Grew that into I was making $60,000 at one point.
Nice.
As a
Mowing
kid,
lawns.
As a kid.
How
How old were you?
I started when I was 10. Well, the interesting thing was I started my paper route, and then one day this lady goes, "Hey, would you shovel my driveway? You're already here delivering the paper." I go, "What are you going to pay me?" She goes, $20. I said, $20? That's what I make a month delivering papers.
Did you tell her that?
I'm like, no, I'm thinking
It's in your head.
and she goes, and then that turned into the neighbor saw me. So before I knew it, I was making way more money shoveling driveways and mowing lawns. So
Nice.
it was a natural progression. And but so I've always been an entrepreneur. So I'm always shifting gears and moving. But what was your question? I totally lost train of thought.
I think we're talking about time, but I do want to talk about this lawn care. I think this is just a funny.
Yeah,
we'll
this.
We'll talk about it real quick. So you started this like little lawn care business when you were 10 years old, and then how long did it take it to grow for you making 60,000? How old were you when you were making 60,000 a year?
But the funny thing is, I don't know if this is a character flaw or a character bonus or plus, but I stayed doing the paper route, which was weird. I mean, from the time I was 10, maybe 11 years old, I was getting up at midnight. Mm-hmm. My mom told me this not too long ago, probably 10 years ago. She goes, I still shake my head to this day thinking every day, 7 days a week, never took a vacation. Mm-hmm. From the time you were 10 to the time you were probably 17 when I finally gave it up. Midnight, I was up at midnight.
Yeah.
And then ran my route and went to school.
Mm-hmm.
Obviously, the weekends I didn't have to go to school, but still, the point is that's what it took. That's the drive I still have to this day.
Right.
I work 24/7, but I love what I do now.
Mm-hmm.
See, I have a choice. I can do it when I want and when I don't want to.
Right.
The difference is I just love doing it, and my wife actually loves hanging out with me, which is odd. So we get to do it together.
I want to wrap this up here because you started mowing lawns at 10, and by the time you were 17, you were making $60,000 a year.
50 to 60.
50 to 60 mowing lawns.
Was it just you, or did you have anyone like working?
Yeah, some friends.
Nice.
Here and there.
Nice.
But they weren't as reliable as me.
Yeah.
So
That's fine.
but then so it's just, for me, entrepreneurship is just part of my life. And the interesting part is that my parents had no entrepreneur spirit at all.
Yeah.
To this day. Who knows where it came from?
I love what you just said about, we got up at midnight and, went and mowed, started my paper out and did all the stuff I had to do to then go to school. My mother also loves to tell the story about how I used to get on my bicycle and ride across the city of Portland to my first job. And she's like, who does that? Mm-hmm. Yeah. So, it's ingrained and,
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, you got to wonder where it comes from, but.
Hey, thanks so much for watching the show today. If you ever want to buy, sell, or invest in real estate in the greater Portland area, please reach out to us here at Danbury Guerin Real Estate Advisors. Our phone number, 207-553-2400, or you can always email us at team@danburyguerin.com.
The 7-Figure Real Estate Podcast and the CE Shop have partnered to provide you guys with awesome real estate licensing education. So wherever you are in the US, if you are looking to get your real estate license, make sure to check out the CE Shop and you can start your real estate journey today. We have links in all of our descriptions. So if you're interested, make sure to scroll down, click the link, and get started. Hey, listeners, and shout out to you if you're watching this on YouTube. Whatever you're doing right now, maybe you're folding laundry, maybe you're in a car ride, maybe you're at the gym, maybe you're just listening to this to pass some time. We ask that you guys can help us grow this podcast. And the only way this grows is through your help. And that means sharing, commenting, liking. Now, we're putting a ton of work into this episode with cameras and lights and action and bringing on good guests. So any type of engagement you guys give us can help us make this bigger and bigger. Again, we thank you guys so much for all of your support, and we look forward to growing this thing.
I mean, I think for me, if I grew up in a household where my family had the money and I didn't have to, but it's because I didn't have any money. My parents are very poor. So the second that I'll never forget the look on that lady's face when I said I'd do it, and the fact that she told me $20 was literally what I was making a month. It was like a life-changing event for me. So, and that's what gave me the I can make money at the rate I want to make it, and it slowly developed into what we got today. And I could make more money than I'm making, but I'm very comfortable. I don't need to make any more money.
The last guest we had on said something very similar. He's like, I'm at a point where I'm making what I want to make. I do the things that I want to do, and yes, I'll tweak and I'll grow, but at the rate that I want to now.
Exactly. Well, like for us, my poor wife, my mind doesn't stop. Like I'm always looking for the next deal. I'm always looking, but it's just changed now. I'm looking for bigger stuff.
Yeah.
For me, like stuff that has a better cap rate, or that have better returns. That's the stuff I'm looking for now. Stuff that I can not be part of as much as just manage the management. So that's where we're at now. We're gearing up to acquire some stuff down in Florida that allows us to spend more time there. Because my goal is to be there full time, but right now we're looking at 6 to 8 months down there.
Nice.
So
That's great. So I want to kind of just loop this back around onto a different topic about leverage, and that's kind of where we're all, that you just spoke about, how I want to leverage, the next piece of my business so I can spend more time in Florida, which is kind of the life by design. And we talked about this earlier, which was, if you're a realtor and you're installing your own signs, that's absolutely asinine. Like, you should not be doing that. You should be finding somebody like Bill. If you're in Maine or Massachusetts, give him a call. It's super easy, and for the cost that it takes him to go out and install the sign and take it down, it's minimal. And it allows you, and we also said this, it frees you up for more lead generation time. And that's your job. Like, that's, as a realtor, that's your number one job, is lead gen, and lead gen.
You got to do what makes you money, and put up a sign does not make you any money.
No, you outsource.
The sign itself makes money.
Yeah. You outsource everything. What I used to say, you outsource the $15 an hour work, so now it's $25 an hour work. You outsource that. Like, I have never installed, and I'm proud to say this, I have never in my entire real estate career installed a real estate sign.
It's crazy
Never.
to me. Like, okay, so and maybe I'm bad at pitching this, but I go into offices and I talk to agents that are still insistent to put up their own signs, and I say, "What do you think you make an hour?" Like you have a very specific number. Most of them look at me like I'm crazy. Like, they don't like. I've never really thought about it. I'm like, well, you should.
Yeah.
And I assure you, you're making more than my sign installers.
Yeah.
A lot more, I'm sure. Right. So if you want to be paid $20, $25 an hour, then go put up your own sign.
Right.
But wouldn't you rather make $150 to $400 an hour?
Right.
I mean, that's why you're being like, they're like, but I enjoy it. I'm like, it's still a bad use of your time.
It's horrible.
I mean, there's so many things. We do it very fast. And we're very effective. We have systems that allow us to be, we have a price set point that allows us, and we're putting up a lot more signs than you. So we're using our time wisely. Where you're not. If you drive a half hour one way and a half hour back, that's not including the sign install itself and managing your own sign inventory and painting your posts and all the stuff you're doing. I mean, if you make on average $150 an hour, which I would say is on the low side, you just cost yourself $150. I mean, how many lead gens could you have done in that time?
Yeah. I mean, how many dials can you make in 1 hour?
Right. So, I mean, for me, that's usually that's usually the approach I take. And when they don't, they're not, and then I usually offer them, 3 free sign installs to give us a try. And you know how many people still say no?
That's crazy.
Like, I'm giving you money to go give us a try, just to give it a try.
Yeah.
No, I really enjoy putting up.
Yeah.
Okay.
So,
I at that point, it's like, okay, I'm moving on to the next.
Yeah. So, I had a mentor that said to me once, Nick, I started making money. I started making real money when I decided to start to write checks.
Right. Exactly.
Yeah.
Have somebody else do the monotonous work. You focus on the high dollar work and outsource everything else. It's the 80-20 rule. Focus on the 20% that makes you the most amount of money and outsource the 80%.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
And also kind of to go off of that, it's finding people that are better than you at like different tasks. So for example, like we have Will back here, the media guy. He's been making wedding videos since he was 12 years old.
Right.
Like odds are he knows how to operate a camera and edit a video better than you and me.
Without a doubt, he'll start talking and I just like glaze over. I'm like, okay, man, this is not my world.
and I'm sure you've hired people that your marketing person. I have no idea how to run. I mean, I've tried to run social media campaigns, but I'd way rather pay someone $1,000 a month to do all of that for me.
Right.
As we do too.
Yeah,
exactly.
I can half do it, maybe not.
Yeah.
But they do it. It's funny. In my competition, I love my competition, by the way. Thank you. They refuse to spend $1,000 on SEO and marketing and Google ads and all that stuff. Which, by the way, a little bit of a secret here, but I make a ton of money off Google ads.
Yeah.
So they're not. So I mean, I'm getting all those, right?
Yeah. Well,
so,
another way to look at it too is like, okay, if I spend what is the opportunity cost of not spending that $1,000? If someone has been doing this, like they built an entire business, like just like you've built a business around building, installing signs for realtors. Someone else has built an entire business around running social media campaigns and SEO campaigns for small businesses. And then at that, even like more niche down for medical spas or real estate agents or sign installation, even like as niche as SEO boost for sign installation companies. Like it really does get niche down. So it's like, why would you not invest in someone who's dedicated their whole life in a business to do exactly that when they're going to do it better and you're going to be able to use your time to do those high, those 20% tasks that are producing 80% of your results?
Well, I can tell you that. So, I mean, we're one of the largest companies in Maine, which honestly, we've lost enough traction now. I hate to say I'm large at all because it's kind of where we are now. It's not, I don't feel big at all as far as the inspection company. But our competition, I talk to them every day, not every day, but quite often.
Mm-hmm.
We're talking all the time. And they're still struggling.
Mm-hmm.
But they're just not, because they're not willing to spend the money.
Right.
Like when marketing starts to shift, like your market shifts and you start losing market share, you better figure it out because somebody's going to.
Mm-hmm.
And if you're not the one,
yeah.
I'll give you an example. We had a walk and talk that, by the way, I did not create this walk and talk inspection. It was not my idea. It's been around for many, many years, but it was an idea that had been floating around in my mind for a while because other markets have been doing it. Well, when they stopped doing inspections, I said, well, there's an opportunity, for one, to serve the client. Mm-hmm. The client still wants to know the information. It's just how do we get them that information? And, so we started doing the pre-offer walk and talks, which the pre-offer and walk and talks are very successful.
Explain that, what a pre-offer walk and talk is.
So one of your clients can't seem to get in, they've tried multiple times writing offers with inspection contingencies. They want to get their 7-day inspections in contingency in the offer, and they can't do it. The market conditions are not allowing it in most areas in Maine, Portland being one of them.
Right.
So we created the pre-offer walk and talk, so our inspectors will come in at a showing. You schedule a showing. We come in. We do basically a walkthrough. It's almost a full inspection because without the walk and talk is not an inspection. We call it a consultation because it changes our. We follow standards of practice, and our standards of practice requires to write a report for inspecting. Mm-hmm. So we called it a walk and talk consultation so that we didn't have to. But it speeds up the inspection process because we're not reporting anything. Mm-hmm. The client can take photos, they can take notes, they can video us the whole entire time, whatever they want to do. So we can do almost a full inspection in an hour.
Mm-hmm.
But we're really there for the majors and, you know, the safety stuff. But it's really just getting the information in the client's hands so they can make their offer according to what their knowledge is now of the home, the condition of the home.
Yeah.
And people love it.
Yeah.
You know, it's helping them in situations where they can't seem to get anything in a contract.
Mm-hmm.
Nice.
Yeah, well, I like that. You've created a new product or service.
I didn't create it.
But
I just implemented it.
You've implemented a new product
Right.
and service inside of your business that was already offering something else. And it's funny to think about real estate and the way we make offers. It almost seems like we should be doing the inspection. It's funny how we make an offer and then we do an inspection. Doesn't that feel a little backwards?
Well, our contracts are conditional upon, or could be conditional upon inspections. You know, in certain towns, they'll go to escrow first, do their inspections, and then go to contract.
Yeah.
You know, so, but in the state of Maine, we go straight to P&S.
Mm-hmm.
So, you know, yes, it feels weird. And especially in these times where we're in a challenging market for buyers, they have to, you know, they'll do crazy things like waive inspections, because that's what it takes to get into a property. So Bill's offered, allowed an opportunity to do the inspection before your offer.
Yeah. Awesome.
Yeah, and I'd reached out to the top three of us, the other two my two competitors, which I've become friends with. I mean, we're just friendly. Yeah. And I said, this is what I'm going to do. Do you want to be part of it? Well, one of them declined, said it was bad for the industry. And the other one said, yeah, let's do it. And I sent him my contract over that we had already prepared and said, use what you want, don't use it. But this is what we're doing. Mm-hmm. And I know he's had some success with it, and we've had success. It's not changing the industry. The industry is going to change whether we change or not. Correct. It's just creating products that the industry needs,
right,
to some degree. So if you don't shift, it's going to shift without you.
Yeah.
So that's just really what I've learned. And same thing with the real estate signs. The company we just acquired in Massachusetts, the market was shifting right under their feet. They lost over 2/3 of their clientele. Now we're climbing back out of that hole, and we're gaining traction and getting the market share back.
Mm-hmm.
But it's going to be an uphill battle to get. We're just going to keep buying people.
What's your key? What's your key to growth?
Consistency for the client, communication.
So customer service.
Yeah.
The client experience.
I think in our industry, especially the home inspection side, a lot of our inspectors have come out of the trades, and the trades are not good with communication or customer service.
Yeah.
Historically.
Oh, horrible.
So I came out of the restaurant industry, which was just the opposite. Mm-hmm. We're known for customer service. So
you usually get one chance with a restaurant, right?
Yeah. Right. So for us, that's the same thing. Like, I feel like we always answer our phones.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
Somebody's always going to answer the phone up until 10 o'clock at night.
Yeah.
Somebody's answering the phone. I mean, Nick calls me now and he's like, Bill, I didn't mean to call you. I meant to call the office.
Yeah.
But you know, I'm answering the phones more because honestly, that's where I make the most money.
Yes. That was exactly what I was just going to say. You know, like your 20% is doing stuff like this, spending time with agents, because you're good at that. You're very good at inspections, and it was very hard for me to let go of Bill not doing my inspections, but you're really good at this.
Yeah, I'm almost too good at inspections.
Yeah. I've had many inspectors, and I've been on the other end of many inspectors, and I will say that, you know, you just have an aura about you when the clients around you, you put them at ease. And some people really set, you know, clients off, you know.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, for me, when I say I'm too good, it's like I've had mentors, home inspector mentors that have been in the industry 30 years. Bill, you know too much, for one. Yeah. Like, you can know too much as an inspector. It's just, but
how so? What do you mean? Like, you just noticed too many issues with the house?
Right. I can walk around a home and in a home in an hour's time and then list everything. I can remember everything. Like, and then I can relay that to my client. Like Nick said it, I've crafted it. I craft it in a way that's, you know, educational, and I talk about the defects, but I don't want, my job is never to alarm somebody.
Mm-hmm.
And that's top of mind all the time.
Yeah.
But just finding things, having the right tools to find the things,
or where to look.
Don't waste your time.
Yeah. Where to look, but also where, you know, I was at a house yesterday, and I was walking around the property, and it all looked good. But then I saw a tarp next to the foundation with, a board attached to the foundation. And I'm like, okay, so they probably have a water problem right here.
Yeah.
So it's like knowing what those indicating signs are.
Well, and that's the biggest thing for a home inspector. We don't need to know actually what's going on in the wall structure. We just need to find the signs that there's a problem there.
Correct.
Or a foundational problem or something.
Yeah.
So, Bill, really great information. I love what you have to bring to the inspection world, the sign world, but also your energy around entrepreneurship is really refreshing. And I always love being able to bounce ideas off of you and, find people, build your bench is what I like to say. Build your bench. Be around other people that want to strive and get better because it's going to make you want to get better, right? If
you are the top 5, you are the average of the top 5 that you hang out with. It's just that simple.
Yeah, it really is. So you spend more time with people that want to grow and get better and get better and get better. You're going to get better because to be truthful, they're going to leave you behind. Those 5 top producing people are not going to want to spend time around a bump on a log.
Well, that's why I made friends with the top companies in Maine. I mean, why not?
Right.
And share things. And there's certain things we don't share, but
sure.
I mean, I would literally share everything. Right? It doesn't because I have nothing to lose.
It makes you better.
Yeah, I
you want to improve. You're going to give your system to somebody, and they're going to start using it, and they're going to have success. Okay, how do I improve that system now?
Right. So, I mean, yeah, I do want to touch on before we're done, but the Life by Design, I feel like is a big reason why I wanted to be here today because everybody can create it. I've had some agents that I used to post a lot on Facebook about what I was doing, what was going on, where we were moving, the companies, all this stuff. We would just, every day was being, and I stopped doing it because I felt a pushback from the agents. Like there was some jealousy there or, because primarily my friends are agents on Facebook. But the sad thing is instead of embracing what we were doing and going, and I've had a few call me about it and be like, what's going on? And I'm like, listen, I love Keller Williams. If I ever become a real estate agent, it will be a Keller Williams agent because I feel like the culture and the environment and the training that I've been able to implement in my own life, a lot of it's come from Keller Williams. Just so Life by Design was one of them. On top of my coaches really pushed it as well because guess what? My coaches all know Gary Keller.
Yeah.
It's all tied back to Keller Williams. So anyways, Life by Design is me going to Florida 6-8 months a year. How can I do that? How do I still make money? Right? People ask me this all the time. It's because I took the top 20% of what makes me money and I took it to Florida. And guess what? I can answer phones in Florida.
Yeah.
I can work on the computer. I can give excellent customer service in Florida. Doesn't matter where I'm at.
Nope.
And guess what? I can do it in Texas.
Yeah.
I can get in a RV as long as I have good internet and signal. I can do it anywhere I want. So it's Life by Design. I chose out of my company to go and do the things that would allow me to be able to do it where I wanted to do it because that was where my heart was. I like to travel. I like to do fun things and go to see different things, different cities.
I've got one short story along that same line, and I remember COVID happened, and I have a buddy who has an RV, and I asked him if I could borrow it, and I drove to Virginia, and we were only going to be gone a week, and my wife and I ended up being gone with our son in an RV for a month. And I ended up putting under contract 7 properties from that RV, and I'd never been in Maine. I wasn't even here. So, those 7 transactions, I made probably $200,000, and I wasn't even here.
Well, and the thing is because you've got people around you,
right,
that you can trust, that can help you. I've used you to sell a house,
right.
And other than looking at you at a showing here or the closing, I didn't really see much of you. I talked to Chris. That's systems.
Yeah, systems.
You got to be out. You've already got it, locked down. It's your listing. Now you got to go find more listings.
Right. Yeah.
But everybody you have around you is quality people. You've hired right people.
Right.
So, that's allows you to do those things. And that's what we have. I have great people. My son, Spencer.
Yeah.
There's nothing I can't ask him to do, and he'll go do it. Right. I know he's there plowing the driveway if it needs to. Whatever he needs to be done, he's there to do it. So I can do whatever I want, where I want.
That's great.
That's awesome.
That's great.
Well, Bill, thank you so much for coming on
Yeah,
today.
my pleasure.
Yeah, thanks, buddy. Appreciate it.
Where can people find you? Give them a number to call, website to look up.
Yep. MaineChoiceInspections.com. You can find us at Trackwell. I won't give you the sign company, but just because it's a little harder to find, you can call me directly at 207-312-3403, 207-312-3403.
Nice.
Was that more numbers than?
He just had it twice.
Oh, okay.
207-312-3403.
Okay, sweet. Well, Bill, thank you so much. Appreciate it.
Thanks, buddy.